Hello. Hello. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vamos, louder. Hello. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, good. Sabda Brahmani Dispare. Charanta Uruvistare. Mantralenge Vyavachinnam Bhajanto na viduparam. Sabda Brahmani in the Vedic literature, Duspare, unlimited, Charantaha, been engaged, Guru, greatly, Vistare, expensive, mantra of Vedic hymns, Lingai of the system, Vyavachinam, partially powerful, the demigods, Bhajantam, worshipping, Na Vidu, they do not know, Param, the Supreme. Translation: despite the cultivation of Vedic knowledge which is unlimited and the worship of different demigods by the symptoms of Vedic mantras, demigod worship does not help one to understand the supreme, powerful personality of Godhead. Despite the cultivation of Vedic knowledge, which is unlimited, and the worship of different demigods by the symptoms of Vedic mantras, demigod worship does not help one to understand the supreme, powerful personality of Godhead. Purport by Divine Grace, Jai Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Kami staita harta gyan prapajyante nyaya devataha tam tam niyam astaya prakriti niyataha swaya. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto the demigods and follow the particular rules and regulation of worship according to their own nature. Most people are interested in worshipping demigods to acquire powers. Each demigod has a particular power. For instance, the demigod Indra, the king of heaven, has power to shower rain on the surface of the globe to give sufficient vegetation to the earth. This demigod is described in the Vedas as Vricha Hasta Purandaraha. Indra ruled the water supply with a thunderbolt in his hand. The thunderbolt itself is controlled by Indra. Similarly, other demigods, Agni, Varuna, Chandra, Surya have particular powers. All the demigods are worshipped in Vedic hymns through a symbolic weapon. That's what it says here. Mantra Lingai Vyavachinam. By such worship, karmis may obtain the benediction of material opulence in the form of animals, riches, beautiful wives and many followers and so on. By such material opulence, however, one cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead. Chant the praise, Om Agyan Timirandasya. Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here this is one of the very important verses that we quote many times regarding explaining the position of the demigods, how demigod worship cannot lead you to the Supreme Personality, understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes they think that you can understand Krishna through the worship of demigods. The demigod worship is very much, as he said, Prabhupada says here, their minds, those whose mind are distorted by material desires, surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations according to their own nature. So if someone is in the mode of passion, someone in the mode of goodness, someone in the mode of ignorance, they go to a particular kind of demigods. It is explained here. You can see here in this verse, so those who worship, for example, in the mode of so here you can see in the material consciousness, however, even when one is situated in the mode of goodness, is susceptible to pollution by the mode of passion and ignorance. When the mode of goodness is mixed with the mode of passion, one worships the sun god, Vivasavan. So that when the mode of goodness is mixed with the mode of ignorance, one worships Ganapati or Ganesh. Is that? When the mode of passion is mixed with the mode of ignorance, one worships Durga or Kali, external potency. And one is simply in the mode of ignorance, one becomes the devotee of Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is the predominating deity of the mode of ignorance within this material world. So according to the guna, the person nature, he will worship that particular demigod. He will be attracted, you see. That's why Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita, I am in everyone's heart as a super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod and make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. You understand? It's Krishna who is directing, not that the simple as a person, oh I like. There is no such thing, Everything is controlled by the... So if he likes to get some, like mode of ignorance, then he is attracted to the Lord Shiva. Understand? And if the mode of this, now we read what? Kali is what? Ignorance and passion mix, correct? So then he is attracted to worship of Durga. Right? Person, his mind is in the mode, correct? And it is explained Bhagavad Gita why they want material benefit, no? Correct? So they want material benefit, then Krishna says very quickly, Kanchantaha karmanam siddhim yajanteyaha devataha chipram. See the word chipram very quickly. Here manusya loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Very quickly they get, man in this world desires success in fruitive activities and therefore they worship demigod. Quickly, of course, man gets result from fruitive work in this world. As quickly they get it. It's not like it is, after some time, or maybe if we work, not work. No such thing. If you worship the demigod, it says here, desire success in fruitive activity, therefore they worship the demigods. You follow? It is not that there's some delay over, no. Because Krishna had to see whether the person qualifies, he wants to be a millionaire, whether he got the karma for that. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the permitter, correct? Anumanta, Upadrasta and Anumanta. I am permitting whether he qualify or don't qualify. You understand this point? It is not that anyone will go to the demigod and get everything they like. It's not the case. If it qualifies, then yes, very quickly he will get the result. This way, explain here. See this verse here. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desire. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. It is not that his independent demigod will just give, but it has to be sanctioned by the Supreme Lord. You follow this point? So the Lord is the ultimate sanctioner. The demigods are independent, independent to some extent. But to give the result, it still needs what? Blessings from the Lord. Not that automatically you go and Lord Shiva will give you immediately. It needs the blessing. So again, how to go and get what is also explained in the Bhagavatam. And see here in this verse, one who desires to be absorbed in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence should worship the master of the Vedas, Lord Brahma or Brahaspati, the learned priest. So if you want to go and merge in the Brahman effulgence, you are recommended to worship Brahma or Brahaspati, the learned priest. Now this everybody like this. One who desires powerful sex should worship the heavenly king Indra. Prabhu, we can advertise this. Everybody is wanting to buy Viagra. Go here, fast, because Indra is very lusty. Yes? And one who desires good progeny should worship the great progenitors called the Prajapatis. One who desires good fortune should worship Durga Devi, the superintendent of the material world. That's why a lot of people, they like to worship Durga. Good fortune. One desiring to be very powerful should worship fire. Agni Devata. You want to be powerful, can worship the fire god. And one who aspires only after money should worship the Vasus. They don't know this one. Maybe you can tell them this one. They are worshipping Kuvera, but if you worship the Vasus, you get more money. But they don't even know how the Vasu looks like. I think you have to go and find out from the Vedic, research. Maybe you have a picture of the Vasu. There are 8 Vasus, correct? 8, and Bhishmadev was also one of the Vasus. You know that? Bhishmadev is one of the Vasus. One should worship Rudra incarnation of Lord Shiva if he wants to be a great hero. Haribol, all this Rajinikanth and all here. Worship a great hero incarnation Lord Shiva. That means you worship Lord Shiva. One who wants a large stock of grain should worship Aditi. One wants to have a lot of grains, is worship Aditi. One who desires to attain the heavenly planet should worship the sons of Aditi. Who are the sons of Aditi? Adityas. One who desires worldly kingdom should worship Viswadeva. Who is this Viswadev? Vishwambar. And one who wants to be popular with the general mass of population should worship Sadhya, demigod. I think we have all lost our, all this thing is lost. They only know a few demigods. Right? Most of the demigods are finished. And one who desires a long span of life should worship the demigod known as Ashwini Kumaras. I don't know how they look like. They're twins actually, right? And a person desiring a strongly built body should worship the earth. With all this gymnastics they're going, they can worship Bhumi Devi. One who desires stability in his post should worship the horizon and the earth combined. Wow, that means you go to the morning, the horizon, the sea, and you worship. You get what? Stability in the post. One who desires to be beautiful should worship the beautiful residents of the Gandharva planet. And one who desires a good wife should worship the Apsaras and the Urvasi society girls of the heavenly kingdom. Exactly what is his name? Pururava did, So you want to have a good wife? He wants to have a good wife? One who desires domination over others should worship Lord Brahma. Wow, see that? If you want to dominate over others, should worship Lord, the head of the universe. One who desires tangible fame should worship the personality of Godhead. So that means you worship Krishna, you get to be famous. And one who desires a good bank balance should worship the demigod Varuna. They are worshipping Kuvera. You should please guide them, they are going to the wrong person. They should go to Varuna. If we want to have good bank balance, I think we should start. If one desires to be a greatly learned man, he should worship Lord Shiva. And if one desires a good marital relation, he should worship the chaste goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva. So you see here how it is all explained, to go to who to get what material benefit. You understand? One should worship Lord Vishnu or his devotee for spiritual advancement in knowledge and for protection for heredity and advancement of a dynasty. One should worship the various demigods. So, if you want to keep your lineage going, then you worship all the demigods. But if you want to make spiritual advancement, then you should only go to Lord Vishnu or Krishna, right? One who desires domination over a kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires victory over an enemy should worship the demons. If you want victory over the enemy, you should worship the demons. They are not excluded, you know. And one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you see here, demigod worship gives material benefits. Yes? Correct? It is not that you don't get material benefits. It actually, worship of demigod is in the mode of goodness. Those in the mode of goodness, they worship the demigod. Those in the mode of passion, they worship the Jai Shri Radha. Who they worship? They worship the what? You know the verse? There's a verse, no? Where is it? 22, is it? No, not this. 54. So here you can see it says that those who are in the mode of passion, they worship the demons. (17:4) 22? 17:4. To Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita is there. 17:4. Yes, also here. Give me a minute. Let me. Man in the mode of goodness worship the demigods, those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. So there's a breakdown on this, you know. Yeah? Follow this point.
But ignorance, say Lord Shiva. Mode of ignorance, worship Lord Shiva.
No, but then when you go into the goodness, then there's goodness mix, you know. That's why the verse explains. You cannot just be in pure goodness or what, because there's always the modes of fighting, you know. Each one wants to dominate, and each one is contaminating each other. Hey, that's why to be in the modes, it is not recommended. That's why you are in the mode of goodness, but you're contaminated with passion, you worship the sun god. Correct? You read? And if your goodness mixed with ignorance, then you get attracted to Ganesh. You follow? Huh? So their modes are always trying to dominate each other. You understand? It is explained here.
The one who is in only ignorance, he worships Shiva.
Complete ignorance, then he goes to Lord Shiva.
Here, complete ignorance going both.
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance of son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance. And other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way there is always competition for supremacy. So the modes are always, trying to, you follow? So demigod worshippers, they cannot understand who is the supreme. This is the problem with the worship of demigods. It's explained here. So you see, this is the position of the demigod worshippers. Those established in material passion, goodness and ignorance worship the particular demigods and other deities. This is the point. Headed by Indra, who manifest the same modes of passion, goodness and ignorance. They fail, however, to properly worship me. So they cannot worship this, they won't go to Krishna. The worshippers of demigods think we shall worship the demigods in this life, and by our sacrifice we shall go to heaven and enjoy there. When that enjoyment is finished, we shall return to this world and take birth as great householders in aristocratic families. When excessively proud and greedy, such persons are bewildered by the flowery words of the Vedas. They are not attracted to topics about me, the Supreme Lord. See the point here? They are not attracted at all. You see this point? And not only that, it is explained here. Those who are full of lust, avarice and greed mistake mere flowers to be actual fruit of life. Bewildered by the glare of fire and suffocated by its smoke, they cannot recognize their own true identity. They are into doing that kind of, what do you call that? Havan, no? So because they are suffocated by its smoke, I think we also get suffocated when we do this yajna. To have big fans and so many things. And cannot recognize their own true identity. Not only they don't know who God is, Krishna, they also will not know who they are. Why? Because they are full of lust, avarice, greed. You understand? So in other words, demigod worshippers are blinded. Demigod worshippers are blinded. They cannot see nothing because of excessive attachment for material You understand? They don't have any good qualities also. Extremely, mind is distorted. They cannot understand who they are. They cannot understand even Krishna also, not possible. You understand? There's one verse also, it says, there in the Bhagavad, one verse, devotees, they give up the worship of these demigods, They cut with the sword, what is that? Of 1, 2 something. The ghastly form of the demigods, devotees. 1 to 1 to 26. That's why devotees at the front, they don't want to get involved in this, Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly form of the demigods and worship only the all-blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portion. So devotees, they are not attracted to this demigod worship, In fact, Krishna also, he says here.
Why is it said ghastly forms when they have very beautiful forms?
What's that?
Why is it said ghastly forms when they have very beautiful forms?
No, but the demigod like, what's her name, Durga, they have many forms of Durga. They are very fearful looking, You can see tongue all out and, how you like that with the tongue and all, tail all out. That's why the other religion, they make fun. You're worshipping the devil. If it is so nice looking, why they say that? Because it's very fearful.
The rest of them are okay.
Mostly they are not okay. And then they worship the penis and the genitals. People ask, what are you doing? If they know that the Shivalinga is the what? What is it? The genitals and the female and male organ, correct? This is what you're doing. Correct? Putting garland, washing with milk. And I think they think this is some kind of, because they don't know. They cannot understand this. You understand? So demigod worship is not really, of course Krishna says also in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna said is not very intelligent. Antavatu palatesham tad bhakti alpa medasham devan deva yajo yanti mad bhakta yanti mama api. See, so man of small intelligence worship demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planet of the demigod, but my devotee ultimately reach my supreme planet. Again he also said many places, yanti deva, where they go? Those who worship demigods go to? Those who worship the forefathers go? Pitru. And those who worship the ghosts become ghosts. But my devotee, they come to me. Yes? So you see there, here also the same point. But here something else is added. Man of small intelligence worship demigod and their fruits are limited and temporary. That means demigod worship, you can only get material benefits. You follow this point? They are not very, that's why it says alpameda, not very intelligent. So demigod worshippers are not very intelligent. In fact, Krishna also condemns it in here also, before we go, Ishopanishad also. Mantra 13 it says, it is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explain it. Understand? They all say what? All rivers lead to the ocean, correct? This is a famous, what do you call that, example they give. But here this mantra, this is Vishwopanishad mantra, it nullifies that theory. Because these guys always like to say, no, we want Surti, Surti. What Surti? This is Surti? Vishwopanishad is what? This is Surti, not Smriti. This is what? So here, what about this? So one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, another is worshipping what is not supreme. Understand? And is further, all this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. So when we are talking to these crazy guys, you should know. Understand? To further strengthen this point, it's explained here again. Very long purport. So this is also very important. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities and pastime, as well as the temporary material creation with temporary demigods, man and animals. When one knows this, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So again, he further strengthens this point that when you worship the Lord, then only you go to the eternal kingdom. And they reject all this what? Temporary thing. So demigod worship is not for intelligent people. It is for the Alpameda, those who are not so intelligent. You follow this point? People who are very much attracted to material benefit. Their mind is lust. Kama, this is the word for the demigod is what? Kama. Kama is harta pragyan. Devotees, they have to come out of this. So it is explained here also. O paths of the intelligent demigod, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. So devotee is at different level, They don't ask nothing, And then even Krishna says, for my devotee you don't ask, that's why I carry what he lacks and preserve what he has. But here on the other hand, you see this, those who think that material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers. Understand? Just now we got the word what? They are what? Alpamedas, right? Less intelligent. Now the Lord is saying they are called Kripana, misers. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. That already we explained already just now, correct? They cannot understand themselves, nor they can understand who God is, correct? Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fool, he must also be considered foolish. In other words, Krishna is saying all demigods are giving benefit, they are all foolish.
And if you go to him and ask for material benefit, although they are considered pious if they go to the Lord, right? Krishna called them, yeah, if you come to me for material benefit, the distress, 4 kinds of people go, right? What are the 4 guys? Huh?
Seeking wealth,
Huh?
knowledge, distress.
The one in distress, then the one who wants something, correct? Then the one who is in knowledge, inquisitive, and finally one who is in knowledge, right? There are 4 kinds. Yes or not? Well, they call them Sukirti, but going to him for material benefit, the Lord is not. That's why there's another verse, we quote all the time, 19:27, that if you come to me for material benefit, I am not interested in giving, because again and again you want to petition for benefit. I will simply take everything and give you my lotus feet, in which you will never ask anything anymore, and that way you are fully satisfied. Of course, that example is given in many places, Durva Maharaj, so many places. No, I don't want anything anymore. Right? I've seen you, I'm satisfied. So that is the thing here. See? So again, another place here. Here it says here another point Krishna is making. A pure devotee is fully accomplished in the science of devotional service, will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities of material enjoyment. If someone who is intelligent will never tell people to go to the demigod to get material benefit. Not to speak of helping him in such activities. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. Okay? That's why here Srila Prabhupada, there is one verse about the worship of Ganesh in the, what is that? Nectar of Devotion. Many people ask us this question. Hey, I was so excited. Hey, I read we should worship Ganesh. First time they are reading the Nectar of Devotion, they become overly excited. Wow, now I can do Ganesh Puja. Right? They are very excited, because they have been doing that all life, you see. But here you see, never encourage a person to eat food injurious to health. Even if the patient desires, isn't Prabhupada stopped it, forget it. Prabhupada said, no. And now we can understand how merciful he is. Because worship of demigod is injurious. It is what? Detrimental. Guru Maharaj, he also was saying, can you go to that verse for me? I think it's 4. He said, even worshipping you for material benefit, this is also available in the hellish planet, It is there. He is, all this benediction he is trying to get from the Lord, when the Lord appears to him and he is speaking, you can find for me. In the meantime, I will show you another verse. I think this is the one. Although I have the power to award spiritual liberation, last 3% worship me with penance and vow in order to get my blessing for their mundane family life. Such persons are bewildered by my illusory energy. See? 499, I'm coming to that. This is the verse. O Supreme Reservoir of Love, unfortunate are they who, even after obtaining me, the Lord of both liberation and material riches, hanker only for material treasures. These worldly gains can be found even in hell. See this point here? Jai Sri Radha Madam. These worldly gains can be found even in hell. Since such persons observe with sense gratification, hell is a beating place for them. It is spoken by Krishna to Rukmani. You can see here, if you are owing to him for material benefit, these worldly gains can be found even in hell. Those who anchor for material riches anchor only for material treasures. Since such persons are observed with sense gratification, hell is a fitting place for them. In other words, if you worship for sense gratification, you are not going to this heavenly world. You see how Krishna condemns them. And here also Dhruva Maharaj, is that 499? Even Dhruva Maharaj is saying, persons, this is 499? Persons who worship you simply for sense gratification of this bag of Hare Krishna. All glories. Person who worship you simply for sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by illusory energy. In spite of having you who are like a desired tree and the cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons such as me desire benediction from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in hellish conditions. There is mine here. Again, Guru Maharaj is saying. What is in number 8? I thought there was something in number 8. So now we have explained at length this demigod worship is very detrimental. Another point just before we go to this thing here. Here you can see, what is that? Demigod worshippers. I am difficult to obtain. 1088, 18, 1088, what? 11. So yeah, this verse very famous. I'm sure you know about it. Because I am difficult to worship, people generally avoid me and instead worship other deities who are quickly satisfied. When people receive kingly opulence from this deity, they become arrogant, intoxicated with pride and neglectful of their duties. They dare to offend even the demigods who have bestowed benediction upon them. Can you see this point here? This is why demigod worship is not recommended. You don't get any good qualities from. You follow? You get what? Arrogant, intoxicated with pride, and you are neglectful of your duties. See how dangerous it is. That's why we don't recommend, not recommend it. Very dangerous. It's very what? Detrimental. And because Krishna is difficult to worship, normally they neglect. Because lust, overcome by lust. I can see, very common in India, every corner there is one demigod temple. Because it's part of the system, but to help them upgrade, you don't deny. So how to help these people? There's a question now. How to help them? So this whole point is this now. Because just before this is a famous verse, Krishna, always this verse is quoted by Srila Prabhupada many times. Akama, sarva kama, moksha kama, udarati. This verse you should memorize. Alright, this verse, I'm sure you know this verse. Akama, sarva kama, va, moksha kama, udarati. Trivena. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desires, without any material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all men worship the Supreme or the Personality of Godhead. So even Krishna condemns you going him for that, but still he recommends you to go to him. Even you have got material desires, or without material desires, or you want to be liberated. Right? This verse many times Prabhupada quoted. So by all means you please go to the Lord. You follow this point? Because when you go to the Lord, then there is a good chance you may meet His, this is explained here. This is a point, very important. All the different kinds of worshippers of multi-demigods can attain the highest perfectional benediction, which is spontaneous attraction unflinchingly fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. That's now we read the verse. By worshipping the demigods, you cannot go to the Supreme. Yes? Correct? Now, the chance of going to the Supreme Lord is only by the mercy of the. Understand this point? That's why there's a whole different, what we say, results. A person who is worshipping demigods, he cannot come out of it by worshipping the demigods. Not that you worship the demigod and you will get Krishna. That's not possible. It is not a possibility. You understand? I think I gave a class one Friday, I think. What the difference he asked, the worship of demigods and the sadhus. Correct? There are so many verses I showed.
Shiva is pure devotee, so I can worship Shiva and go to Krishna.
Huh?
Shiva is pure devotee, so I can worship Shiva and go to Krishna.
Yes, the Shiva that you are worshipping is the one who gives you material benefits. If you want to worship that Shiva who is giving you like the prasetas, spiritual knowledge, then you must go his link. You cannot just go to Shiva. We cannot just go to Brahma and get all the, not possible. If you go to Brahma like that, you see all the material benefit only you get. Correct? So if you want to get the knowledge from this Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma or the four Kumaras, you must go to the current link. You can find it. Here the current link is here. Why you want to do so many investigations? Someone was asking me the question, what about this Nityananda Vamsa, I think we should investigate. I said, you got so much time. Nothing else to do? I mean, The parampara is here, the books are here, the knowledge is here, everything here. Why we have to do all this difficult gymnastics? Right? Correct? So this is very clear here. Right? Only by the association of pure devotee of the Lord, then only you can get access to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You understand? There's a verse here, there's one verse. I think it is here, maybe 165, is it? 165, I hope I'm correct. Yeah, I'm right. See, this is a very important verse here. It says, as long as there is not the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna, which is the perfect medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna within the heart, the opulence of material perfection known as Siddhis, Brahmanical perfection, Satya, Sama, Tiktiksha, so on, the trance of yogis and monastic bliss of Brahman, all seem wonderful for man. Get this point? Huh? As long as you do not come in contact with Krishna through the devotees, that also, then all these things will become very alluring, and you become very what? Attractive. That's why people who got lust in the heart, these things are very attractive. You understand? Very? So the only way to come out of this kind of a mess, only one way. We have to go and take shelter of a pure devotee. So I explain here. This verse, the activities of demigods lead to both misery and happiness for living beings. But the activities of great saints like you, who have accepted the infallible Lord as their very soul, result only in the happiness of all beings. Is there a difference here? Demigods, you go, the fruit is what? Limited and temporary, correct? Antavatu pala tesham. Alpa meda. Just now we read, no? So the fruit is limited and temporary. Same point. Not only limited and temporary, they give you misery and happiness. Not that you go to the demigod, you will not get, you only get happiness. No such thing. But if you go to the devotees, sages, pure devotee, then you only get happiness. You only get?
In the Tapatraya, one of the three miseries is caused by demigods.
Yeah. They're supposed to give you some miseries, their job. Correct? Now the COVID, miseries, death, miseries. So, next verse, those who worship the demigods receive reciprocation from the demigod in a way just corresponding to the offering. The demigods are attendants of karma like a person's shadow, but sadhus are actually merciful to the fallen. So they can only give you what your karma is beyond, is not possible to help. You understand this point? But the sadhus are actually merciful to the fallen because they can awake them out of this material mess. Only the sadhus can wake you up because you need to be woken up. Just now we read, in the dream you were seeing the tiger and all these things, correct? That not just some dreams and tiger and someone wake you up. In spiritual life, you can only be woken up spiritually by the help of the spiritual master and Krishna. You cannot, you are sleeping, we are sleeping now, we are materially sleeping. Understand? And we are attracted to all this sense pleasure, all these stuffs, Yesterday I gave the class, correct? The pratishta, the labha, that all are subtle also in the heart of the devotee is all considered as what? Weeds. So we need to pull them all out. Understand? So we have to go to the devotees. Then you can see, I don't want all this stuff. That's why you see the Durvan Maharaj, right? I came looking for some what? Kacham. What is that? Glass. Pieces of broken glass. But I found a valuable. So this is the realization. The moment you come to Krishna, then yes, and only a devotee can bring you to Krishna. Yeah, of course, there are so many Krishna temples everywhere here. I think in India, right? People go Tirupati here, there. All. Why they go home? They still go back and do their nonsense. Yes or not? Why? Because the element of association of pure devotee is not. That's why even Krishna says, you go to holy places, if you don't meet, what is that? 18, what is that? 10, 88 and 84, is it? So if you go to holy places, right, this verse here, you go to the place of privilege simply to take a bath rather than meet man or transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. These are the words of Krishna, this Krishna spoke, this thing. In other words, Krishna's stress on trying to get the association of devotees. The devotees are far, far more higher than the demigods. You understand? Far, far higher than that. That's why I explain here again in this verse. This is a very important verse. This is spoken by, I think, Narada Muni. For the conditioned soul, the human body is most difficult to achieve. For the conditioned soul, this human body, very difficult to get. And it can be lost at any moment. At any moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. Get that point? Yeah, human birth is rare already. Yes. But it is even more rare to get the association of a pure devotee. You understand? Demigod worship is something, it is not even talking about. This is the problem with our, upbringing. We have all been programmed to go and get to worship the devatas. No, go. And then they do this. Some kind, so Ganesh stand on one leg and you do what kind of gymnastics you do for. Everybody. Because the whole program, no. Saraswati Puja, you bring all your books. I don't know what you're going to score. She's going to do some magic and you get all A's or something. I don't know. How the whole program? Yes. We all are trained like that. Yes. Correct? Because we are taught that material benefit is the goal of life. Correct? Even now, many Indians who study. The guy don't go to school. Wow, his whole life is gone. If you don't go to school one day, his whole life is gone too. I have seen parents, why are you not coming? No, exam now. What? Exam means don't come to the temple. What is this? Very strange. They prioritize what? Material education as the summum bonum of the person. Correct? Yeah, especially the women, wow, they get all crazy. Wow, the children no school? Wow. They get a heart attack. They get what? Heart attack. He's going to be a fool. You understand? This is the whole program which is being misdirected. That's why it's what? There should be a revolution on the misdirected. What is that verse? 1:5? 11. On the other hand, that literature which is full of description of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form and pastime, the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental word, directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. Huh? But this is not even cared for. Nobody cares for Bhagavad Gita. Who cares? Huh? Anybody care? Nobody. In fact, just recently we started these classes. They are so surprised that so much information is in that one book. And we are a little handicapped because we cannot use other books at all, just one book. Most of them don't have the other. Look at that. I am preaching. Most countries have complete sets of Prabhupada books, all in what? PDF, in a soft copy. And India, the source, the what? Don't even have. How pathetic it is. Can you imagine? Huh? Yes? How? That shows that they are not bothered, they are not interested. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard and sung and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Krishna is giving stress also to knowledge. It is not that we are not bothered about knowledge, we are also bothered about knowledge. You understand? Huh? In fact, Krishna says, among the 4 people who come to me, the one who comes on knowledge, is very, very dear to me. Yes? See, Krishna says this, see. All those devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but one who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. One who is situated in knowledge of me, of who? This they are forgetting. They are not interested. This they are not interested. Yes? See? Being engaged in my transcendental service is sure to attain me, the highest and most perfect goal. Okay? They are going to the demigods to get material benefit, material knowledge, material everything. And Krishna says such a person is a kripana, a fool. Bhagavad Gita, he put them as what? Hartata Gyan, they have lost their intelligence. Kami tat harta gyan, lost intelligence. Antavatu palatesham alpameda, their brains is short-circuited. Prabhu, the Indians, and here Krishna is saying very clearly, one who studies about me, I consider him as what? Next verse, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan. Again, who is that? Jnanavan. Mam Prapadyante. How is he a Jnanavan? Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Sahamatma Sudurlabha. Sadmatma Muktanamapi Siddhanam Narayana Parayanaha. Correct? Okay, this is Narayana Parayana means the one who is a devotee. He is considered as topmost. But therefore, we should not waste our chance, get all hooked up with all this nonsense. We get purified. The one who is purified, then he thinks that all this is, just now I read the verse, right? All this mystic power, this thing, that thing, all this, what? Very attractive, as long as Krishna is not there. And also Krishna says here, it is spoken by not Krishna but Prahlad Maharaj, I think it's this verse. My dear friends, O sons of demons, you cannot please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by becoming a perfect Brahmana, demigod, a great saint, or becoming perfectly good in etiquette or vast learning. You see here, you cannot even please the Lord by becoming even a demigod. What to speak of worshipping them? Is it? Right? Or great saints, or by becoming perfectly good in etiquette or vast learning. None of this qualification can awaken the pleasure of the Lord. Nor by charity, austerity, sacrifice, cleanliness or vows can one satisfy the Lord. The Lord is pleased only if one has unflinching, unalloyed devotion to Him. Without sincere devotional service, everything is simply a show. Finish. The program is over. Prabhu, I can sit here whole day, Prabhu, I can. Correct? I think we should be very fixed in not approaching the demigods. That's why they said in the CC, 2 places. One should not worship. If you want to make advancement spiritually, you cannot worship. Where is that? 19? Clearly it says here, a pure devotee must not cherish any desire other than to serve Krishna. He should not offer worship to the demigods or to the mundane personalities. Period. It is said the word here, should not. Demigod worshippers are very upset when you go to their temples and you don't care. You're in big trouble. At least you go there, you respect. You go there, respect. Bow down. It's not that you don't bow down, bow down. But worship, you understand they are servants of Krishna, and yes, we offer our The 3 verses in the, what is that, for Devi, Sristi, Siddhi, Pradana, Sadhana. You go to the CC, these 3 verses are there in one verse, I found that while I was speaking I saw. And another one, Chiram Yatati, Vishesha Yoga, Samjayate Tata, Pataka Asti Hetu, that verse. And Bhasmam Yatasma, Brahma, for Devi, for Lord Shiva, and Brahma. These 3 verses are in the purport of that verse, the Prabhupada, worship of demigods. In the CC, you find this verse. So you can see how we are. Yeah. So this is how we are supposed to respect them. You understand this point? Let me finish this verse first. He should not offer worship to the demigods or the mundane person. He should not cultivate artificial knowledge. You see this point again? He should not cultivate artificial knowledge, is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And he should not engage himself in anything other than Krishna conscious activities. One must engage all one's purified senses in the service of the Lord. This is the favorable execution of Krishna conscious activity. Then so again, there's another place here. This one is the point here that we are making. It says here, (119). Sorry. Yeah. The devotee should treat loss and gain equally. The devotee should not be overwhelmed by lamentation. The devotee should not worship demigods, nor should he disrespect them. Similarly, the devotee should not study or criticize other scriptures. Now, what is that verse just now? Adi? 7? 7. 7, 1? 157. Yes. So here you see, when we speak about respect, so we chant these verses, you see. So when we worship when we go to the demigod temple, we chant this verse. This is about Durga Devi. Sristi Siti Pralaya Sadhana Sakti Reka Chaya Yasya Bhuvanani Vibhati Durga Echanurupam Abhiyasya Chasite Tuchesa Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The external potency Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the chit, spiritual potency, worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primal Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga contacts herself. This is how we respect. You follow? So these verses we have to chant. This one is the yogurt verse, about Lord Shiva. Milk is transformed into yogurt by the action of acid, yet the effect of yogurt is neither the same nor different from its cause. I adore milk, I adore the primal Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Sambhu is similarly transformed for the performance of the work of destruction. And here this is about Lord Brahma, who receives the power for regulation of mundane world, just as the sun manifests a portion of his own light in all effulgent gems that bear such name as Surya Kanta. Then this is about Ganesh, Yatpada Pallavam Yugam, So Ganesh holds the Lord's lotus feet upon the pair of Timalaya, proving from his elephant head. So you see, all these verses are there and then the sun also, you see, the sun god here. How the sun, you worship the sun. So this is how we go and do our respects. You follow? It is not that we don't respect, we have to respect also.
In fact, we gave 5
Huh?
the Panchopasana.
Yeah. These are the 5, the sun, the Lord Shiva, Durga,
Brahma,
Ganesh,
and
and of course Vishnu. But Vishnu we chant Hare Krishna.
here you include Brahma.
Yasyasti nisvasita kalam atavalambya jivan diloma vilaja jagadandanata Vishnu mahan yayasya kalaviseso. So this is a mantra for, or that other verse, no, that light dipare, the light. So all these verses are there, so we should have to know, and then we apply them as we go to the temples. Of course, most of you used to go to this temple to distribute our books and all that, right? I had a complaint actually, they told me, when I was being investigated, they were saying, but you guys don't go into the temple, right? I said, why we don't go into the temple? We go into the temple? No, you all never go into the temple. You stay outside. They think that we don't respect the demigods. That's not a fact. Why we not go inside and pay obeisances? Because you do it outside, because you want to concentrate on your service, but they observe. You understand? One time one person got very upset that we didn't put usually they give the red powder and all that, no? Right? So he became very offended, you're not taking and putting in they think we're anti. We have no objection, they can put, what's the harm? Yes? They are, demigod worshippers are always looking for what? The reason to fight with the bodies. That's a verse also. Yes, and that was also, what's his name? Srivas Thakur, right? They put all the Kali thing in front. That was Chapal Gopal who planned it. So therefore, although worshipping demigod does not help you, but that doesn't mean that we disrespect them. I have explained at length. I think today's class is pretty much covered most of the points. Yes? But devotees, you can see, they worship demigods to get Krishna. That's another angle itself, but that is only for highly advanced devotees. So we are not taught that way. We are not taught that way to go and worship demigod to get Krishna. It is not required also. You can go to Krishna directly. You understand? There are cases of Rukmini worshipping Durga to get Krishna. The gopis worshipping Katyayani, who is an expansion of Durga, to get Krishna. And Lord Shiva, Arjuna worshipped Lord Shiva to get the favor to serve Krishna. Right? They are. But we are not been taught to do that, although there are examples. Because we are not so advanced, we may get bewildered. Because that's the nature of the conditioned soul, that when they get something, they become obligated. You understand? And then they start thinking, no, for me, so and so is the only thing in my life. No, I don't care for anything, I only, You understand? So they may not understand the purpose of human life in that way. That's why demigod worship is very intoxicating and dangerous. And devotees usually I read verses, right? They usually avoid worshipping the demigods. That's why Krishna says in the end of Bhagavad Gita, what is that? Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam saranam ham tvam sarve papebhyo mokshasmi mas. Don't go to anything. Tasmat ekena manasa. What is that verse? 1:14. So here it says here, Tasmat ekena manasa bhagavan satsvatam patihi sotavya jetavyaschya dehe pujaschya nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember and worship the personality of Godhead who is the protector of the devotees. That is the conclusion. You just go to Krishna and everything is settled. Right? Otherwise, you can get very much mixed up. Yes? Alright, any questions or comments? I think I've pretty much explained my point. Right?
This Venugopal Prabhu is asking, but most of us might be demigod worshippers before Krishna consciousness. Still we came to this Krishna consciousness. Doesn't that mean demigods also could have shown some spiritual mercy on us?
According to this verse, no. According to this verse, no.
It's actually because of the pure devotee.
Only by pure devotee, and also by Krishna only, because Krishna directs. When Krishna in the heart, he detects that you are interested in knowing or surrendering to me, then Krishna will make arrangement for you to go to pure devotee, not the demigods. Demigods, they got nothing to do. Huh? Yeah. But he went to a devotee. Lord Shiva could have given him instruction, no, you don't worship or you just go to Krishna. No. He said you go to Lord, go to Sanatan and get the touchstone. And Sanatan then told him there's something higher than so the devotee still, no. Without devotee association it's not possible to go to. So he may be thinking that, oh, by the demigod only I met the devotee. No, that's not valid.
Also the Chandidas story.
Eh?
Chandidas.
What story?
He's worshipping the Kali. Chandidas.
Who?
Chandidas.
Or the poet. What's his name?
Chandidas.
Chandi.
Chandidas.
I thought he was Kalidas, no? Another one also. Both of them.
Kali going to worship
Chandidas worship Krishna? I don't know how much this story we can quote because validity is not, Yeah? CC? If it's in the CC I would have pretty much heard about it. I don't think it's in the CC. I don't know. I may have overlooked. Can you find out? I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read the books of
The Lord used to read the books of Vidyapati, Jayadeva and Chandidas relation their songs.
There's a story about Chandidas there. What he says?
He said that lying handly in the company of Swarup Damodara, Ramanand Rai Mahaprabhu seeing a recent song of Chandidas, Vidyapati.
No. I'm talking about the story he's saying now. He's saying about the life of Chandidas, That's not there in the CC. I don't remember. Anyway, can find out. Right?
Looks like
It's another place, I'm sure, some other Puranas. So the point is this, that demigod worship cannot lead you to. So if he is thinking like that, maybe you can ask him to change his viewpoint, because he is contradicted to what the verse is all about today.
But you was giving an example of one of the devotees who worshipped Shiva, and then you asked him to ask Lord Shiva, and then he got some indication and he came here.
Yeah, but still, was the devotee who told him. He had to go to a devotee first, right? Not one, a few guys. They're so addicted to demigods. You go and ask who is supreme. You can ask. And Lord Shiva, no, Durga. So they are obligated. They don't tell you until you ask. Are you the supreme? They say, no, I am not supreme. Even Brahma said to Narada, I see you, are you the supreme? And the whole 3, Bhagavatam 2, 5, 2, 6, 7. Said, no, I am not the supreme. Who is the supreme? Krishna is the supreme. See, Narada is asked Brahma. So, you understand? So the point is this, I have to be clear, because look, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He does everything for everybody. Why this information should not be told to everybody? It's injustice. If you want to worship demigod, we have no objection, but you have to know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the problem is that to understand that, you need a lot of piety. You need to meet a pure devotee to explain that. I mean, how many of us knew that before coming to Prabhupada? How many of us? You're confused. Correct? Why is Indian religion so confusing? So many gods, so many things. Is it not? Correct? Yeah. Confusion can only be cleared by the mercy of the pure devotee. That's it, period. You cannot say, oh, by the mercy of demigod, I got this, I got that. Tell him, please stop thinking like that. It doesn't work. Alright? Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki